नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। वो दिखना नहीं मांगता इसलिए वो भी दिखना मांगता है ना ऐसा वो सबका देखने का मैं अकेला नहीं दिखता मेरा तो मैं आगे बढ़ेगा तो सब लोग रख जाएगा अपना अपना नहीं दिखता। हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरि हरि। हरे कृष्ण। हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा
हरि बोल
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे बोलो।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम राम
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे बोलो। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे बोलो।
हरे कृष्णा
सभी बोलिए प्रेम से बोलो।
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे
हरि बोल।
हरे राम 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 हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम
कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 बोलो हरे कृष्णा। हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्णा
हरे हरे,
हरे राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण
हरे हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम राम
हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम
हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे हरे
हरे हरे हरे राम राम
हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे।
कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे
हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण
हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे हरे। हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे हरे राम हरे राम हरे। बोलो हरि नाम संकीर्तन की। हरे कृष्ण। मेरा आपकी कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है। मेरा आपकी कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है। करते हो तुम कन्हैया मेरा नाम हो रहा है।
करते हो तुम कन्हैया मेरा नाम हो रहा है।
मेरा आपकी कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है। बोलो
मेरा आपकी कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है।
मेरा आपकी कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है।
मेरा आपकी कृपा से सब काम हो रहा।
करते हो तुम कन्हैया मेरा नाम हो रहा है।
करते हो तुम कन्हैया मेरा नाम हो रहा है।
करते हो तुम से सब काम हो रहा है।
मेरा आपकी कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है।
पतवार के बिना ही मेरी नाव चल रही है।
पतवार के बिना ही मेरी नाव चल रही है।
हैरान है जमाना मंजिल भी मिल रही है।
हैरान है जमाना मंजिल भी मिल रही है।
करता नहीं मैं कुछ भी, करता
नहीं मैं कुछ भी,
सब काम हो रहा है।
करता नहीं मैं कुछ भी, सब काम हो रहा है।
करते हो तुम कन्हैया मेरा नाम हो रहा है।
करते हो तुम कन्हैया मेरा नाम हो रहा
है। मेरा आपकी कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है।
मेरा आपकी कृपा से सब काम
हो रहा है। हरि बोल। मैं तो नहीं हूँ काबिल तेरा पार कैसे पाऊँ।
मैं तो नहीं हूँ काबिल तेरा प्यार कैसे पाऊँ।
टूटी हुई वाणी से गुणगान कैसे गाऊँ।
टूटी हुई वाणी से गुणगान कैसे गाऊं।
तेरी इस प्रेरणा से ये कमाल हो रहा है।
तेरी ही प्रेरणा से ये कमाल हो रहा।
करते हो तुम कन्हैया मेरा नाम हो रहा है।
करते हो तुम कन्हैया मेरा नाम हो रहा सब काम हो रहा।
मेरा आपकी कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है।
मेरा आपकी कृपा से
सब काम हो रहा है। करते हो तुम कन्हैया मेरा नाम हो रहा है।
करते हो तुम कन्हैया मेरा नाम हो रहा है।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। बोलो
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम
राम राम हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम
राम राम हरे हरे। बोलो हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। जय गौर ब्रह्मानंदे।
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ओं विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Ram
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Ram 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 Hare
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Neshtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Hare Krishna. So welcome to the third and final day of this Bhagavat series. So last 2 days we have been discussing Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes and the lessons that we could learn. Today's episode is from Dwarka, the city of Dwarka. And as you must have read the title, The Controversy at Dwarka, it seems all the controversies happen in the cities only. We don't find any controversy in Vrindavan. But Dwarka, of course, even when Krishna is personally present. So the scriptures describe Krishna as Satchit Anand. Sat means eternal, Chit means knowledge, and Anand means bliss. And the soul is also described as Satchitananda. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Mame Vansho Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhutah Sanatana. People who doubt that Krishna is God, they should search through all the scriptures and bring out at least one candidate who is declaring that all living entities are my children. Nobody has ever said that except Krishna. And only when Krishna's mention is found in the scriptures, the word Sri Bhagavan, Krishna or any of his incarnations. So if we study scriptures, there is no doubt. Confusion kahan hota hai? When we don't study scriptures. We have our own mind and then we study WhatsApp, Wikipedia, Google. That's where our information comes from. So therefore, there is great need to present the pure philosophy of the scriptures. And otherwise, this confusion, chaos will continue, and we will be deprived of the most glorious opportunity of human life, which is meant to connect with God and engage in His devotional service, along with doing our worldly duties, which also must be dedicated to Him only. And that is the purpose of human life. So being parts and parcels of God, we are also Satchit Anand. We are eternal, we are full of knowledge, and we are always blissful. But when I say we are eternal, we are blissful, we are full of knowledge, how does it apply to our life? We die. But do we actually die? The body dies, we don't die, we just change into another body. And when we change into another body, most of the times, we forget our past. Then what about knowledge? Knowledgeable. Potentially, we are full of knowledge. But because of our association with the material energy for a long time, we have forgotten, lost that knowledge. And bliss aspect, all of us are working hard for happiness only. Bliss, Anand. Sukh or Anand, dono mein difference hai. What we are looking for is Anand. Sukh means a neutral stage. Sukh means nothing bad has happened yet. That is Sukh. कुछ बुरा नहीं हुआ है तो सुखी हैं. But what we are looking for is bliss. That's why we keep making plans. Goa, Maldives. Because Bombay में भी रह रहे हैं, but सुखी हैं. But we need that action. We need that bliss. So weekend में निकल जाओ कहीं पे. So what we are looking for is bliss, not sukh. Satchit Ananda. But when the soul forgets its eternal relationship with Krishna, that's when we lose these facilities. This is covered. And we don't experience that Satchitananda feature of ours. But Vedanta Sutra explains Anandamayo Bhyasat. The soul by nature is pleasure seeking. हर समय pleasure की खोज करती रहती है soul. Soul doesn't mean वो आत्मा भूत वाली. Soul means us. So, just for your information, when I say the word Atma, generally what comes to your mind? Atma. चार आत्माएं. Now, let us be more graphic. आपके घर में आज रात को चार आत्माएं आ रही हैं. Now, what comes to your mind if I use the word Atma? Huh? when I use the word ghost, bhoot, what comes to your mind? What kind of a living entity? Scary. But for your information, these scriptures describe these two words are actually defining our identity. Bhoot and Atma, they both mean the living entity, the soul. But in today's day and age, because of the media, these two words, as soon as we utter these words, we just get so scared. I always say, suppose you're watching TV at 11:30 in the night, and suddenly the doorbell rings, and you're inside your room, the maid opens the door, and you ask, "कौन है?" And the maid says, "मैम साहब, आपसे मिलने 3 आत्माएं आई हैं." अगर हम लोग उस लैंग्वेज में बात करना शुरू कर दें, like if you go home today and you tell your husband or wife or family members, you know, I've realized something today. क्या? मैं आत्मा हूँ. But this is our identity. And why do people find it difficult to take to spiritual life? Why doesn't it make sense? Because there is an identity crisis. Therefore, when Krishna starts speaking the Bhagavat Gita, the first thing he establishes is our identity. We are not these material bodies, we are spiritual beings, the spirit souls. Therefore, spiritual life is our natural life. We are living within the body, we are not the body. इसके लिए when a person dies, why do we lament? Body तो सामने पड़ा है. Because the real person whom we were attached to, interacting with throughout our life, that person has left. So who is that person? Essentially हमने तो उसको कभी देखा भी नहीं है. तो कहाँ का अटैचमेंट? जिस चीज़ को लेकर हम लोग अटैच होते रहते हैं जिंदगी भर, उस व्यक्ति को तो हमने देखा भी नहीं कभी. खाली बॉडी को देखते हैं. But the body is only active as long as the soul is present. So किससे अटैचमेंट, किससे डिटैचमेंट, किसके बुरा कहने पर हम लोग बुरा मान जाते हैं, जिस व्यक्ति को देखा भी नहीं है. So knowledge. So Krishna establishes we are spiritual beings, spirit souls. Attachment makes life miserable. तो इसके लिए ये नहीं बोल रहा कि आज से पूरी तरह डिटैच हो जाओ आप. कौन हो तुम? मैंने तुमको देखा भी नहीं. कौन हो तुम? कौन बोल रहे हो? Not like that. But that knowledge must be there. So when there is separation inevitably due to the effect of time, वो शौक उतना ज़्यादा नहीं लगेगा. Knowledge जब रहता है, knowledge is very important. Hearing from the scripture, that will keep us have that reality check हमेशा. So the soul is Satchidanand and it is always hankering for pleasure, and it is a part and parcel of God. It is spiritual. But when the soul forgets its original nature and it has to look for pleasure, it starts finding pleasure in something else, material subject matter. When it forgets its real identity, its position, then the soul, it has to look for pleasure, so it starts finding that in material things. But does that quest ever end? अगर ऐसा होता तो सब लोग आज खुश बैठे होते, घर में कोई भागदौड़ आपको दिखती नहीं, airports would be empty and you would be sitting at home. We want newer and newer things. What kind of happiness do we want? Which is everlasting, ever increasing, in variety, which can be shared with loved ones. It should be full of variety. एक ही चीज़ करते रहेंगे तो that also gets boring after some time. That is the nature of material pleasures. With time they become boring. So taste चला जाता है, वो जूस निकल जाता है उस चीज़ में से. जैसे कि शुगर केन, अगर आपने देखा है कभी शुगर केन जूस बनते हुए, उसको वो इतनी बार मशीन में डालता है जब तक वो एक एक बूंद निकल ना जाए उसमें से. But at some point it has to end. तो material means anything which is matter. उसका स्वभाव क्या है, नेचर क्या है? It will have a beginning and it will also have an end. And spiritual things, they have no beginning, no end. Everlasting. The pleasure goes on increasing. And we are spiritual, so if we want to experience that permanent pleasure, happiness, then we have to start connecting with things, engaging in things which are of similar nature, that will make us happy, which are of permanent nature. Krishna is permanent, his name is permanent, scriptures are permanent, spiritual है, his form is permanent. आप सोचिए, भगवत गीता आप कितनी बार भी पढ़ लीजिए, 5000 years old book, and still it is as fresh as you could get. इससे ज़्यादा क्या experience होगा? The form of Krishna in the temple or at home. आप किसी एक मंडेन व्यक्ति का, ह्यूमन बीइंग का ला के रख दीजिए एक मूर्ति. For how long will you get excited seeing him? Even if he's your favorite sports star, politician or film star. एक दो दिन आपको लगेगा excitement, you will have a party. Yeah, look, I got my favorite actor's murti home. But you won't get up every morning at 4 o'clock to do his aarti. Or on the installation day, you won't be celebrating, oh, chalo. वो भाव थोड़े दिनों बाद खत्म हो जाए, then you'll be lying in one corner. But the form of the Lord is the same. टेम्पल में जाइए, चाहे आपके घर में भी है. Every day you are so excited, you can sit in front of that form and go on drinking his beauty through your eyes for hours and still not feel satisfied or bored. You can chant his name, you will not feel bored. आपका favorite Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON, he used to give an example that what is the difference between material and spiritual name. You chant at that time Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola. Prabhupada say, how long will you keep chanting? It's your favorite soft drink. But if you chant Krishna's name, you won't get bored. So the material things, they are exciting in the beginning, but they get boring with time. They lose that mellow taste. And spiritual things might be boring, dry in the beginning, but with time they will become very exciting. So a dryness wala jo period hai, usko we just have to cross, and then there is eternal bliss available. So the soul has the tendency. It is explained in the scriptures that Krishna is full of variety. And he likes to taste various rasas, mellows. And therefore he will engage in different kinds of pastimes. He is a playful boy, he is a king, he fights, he wrestles. He has his beloveds, he has his parents, he steals. He likes to taste different rasas. And we, being his parts and parcels, also have the same tendency. We like adventure. We like what? All kinds of emotions we want to experience. इसी के लिए तो movies जाते हैं ना. Horror, controversy. How about that? कंट्रोवर्सी अच्छा नहीं लगता आप लोगों को? कैसे कान खड़े हो जाते हैं अचानक से? आजकल का वो ट्रेंडी वही है. You put one Bhagavat Gita का video on social media, it will have like 10 views maybe after 10 months. I put one controversial video, 10 lakh views in one day. So the reason is, इसका root cause समझना पड़ेगा कि the soul is looking for pleasure. And because it is not trying to find pleasure in things like these, तो कहीं ना कहीं तो इस चीज़ में ढूंढती है. वहाँ पे प्लेजर लेना शुरू कर देते हैं। और प्रॉब्लम क्या है, दिस काइंड ऑफ प्लेजर ओनली इम्प्लीकेट्स अस मोर एंड मोर इन द लॉज ऑफ कर्मा. It aggravates our misery. We get bound. It leads to further bondage, frustration, suffering. Reaction तो आएगा ना, because whatever we hear, whatever we study, whatever we see, carries the consciousness of the makers of that particular book or a TV show or that music. So उनका consciousness हम में तो आएगा ना. If somebody is making or writing with the intention of creating a controversy, तो फिर वही हमारे में enter कर जाता है, वही consciousness. Because we have that tendency to experience pleasure, different kinds of emotions, so therefore we get attracted to these things, but they don't satisfy. हाँ, mind contaminate और ज़्यादा हो जाता है, because we absorb that energy. So activities like chanting of the Lord's names, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, they will purify our consciousness. And plus the amount of experience, the amount of satisfaction, the amount of pleasure that we experience, it goes on increasing. It doesn't produce any reaction. Everything that we do in this world has a reaction. But this activity does not have any reaction. It is a karma. Gita talks about 3 types of karma: karma, vikarma and akarma. Karma means good deeds. They also have a reaction. They want you to piety, that cycle, and then you elevate yourself to the heavens, then again come back. The cycle of birth and death, the karma doesn't end. You're still within the material realm. And of course, bad activities, vikarma, punishment, misery. Then there is something called akarma. Akarma means activities in relation to God. They do not have any reaction. Rather, they relieve us from the bondage. They relieve the soul of its eternal bondage. And how do we accomplish this? It's very simple. We don't have to do gymnastics, become experts. Simply sit, chant the Lord's holy names, and try to hear about Him from scriptures like Gita, Bhagavatam, Ramayana. That's it. These 2 things are enough. और कुछ करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है आपको. Just do these 2 things. Chant His names, chant the Mahamantra, and regularly hear from the Srimad Bhagavatam out His narrations. Our narrations about the Lord's pastimes. ये 2 simple activities में ही सब कुछ है. The thing is, Kali Yuga mentality is, if it is so simple, it might not be that good. कि वही चीज़ आपको एक रोड साइड पे 10 रुपए में मिले, and but you want to buy that same thing, exact same thing from a showroom, from a mall, where it's costing 1,000 rupees. When it costs 1,000 rupees, then that's when we see, oh, it is valuable. But वही genuine चीज़ अगर फ्री में भी दे, आपको लगेगा फ्री में क्यों दे रहे हैं भाई? But the path shown by Krishna is very simple. The scriptures are the law books, they are the guidebooks. Very simple. Chant and hear. And you will achieve the perfection of life without having to give up what you are already doing. You carry out your duties, but add this dimension to your life. So, Krishna, as we know, at the age of 11 years and 3 months, he moved from Vrindavan to good. Mathura, yes. And then there was a king of the name Jarasandh, demonic king. So Krishna killed which demon in Mathura? अरे बोलिए, आप लोग लंच खा के नहीं आते हैं? Which one? Kans. Kans had 2 wives, Asti and Prapti. बहुत अच्छे नाम हैं. And they were the daughters of Jarasandh. Now how demonic was Jarasandh? He had held thousands of kings as his captives. and he wanted to sacrifice them to goddess Durga, goddess Kali. एक sacrifice करना था उसको ताकत और शक्ति के लिए. So these two daughters went to Jarasandh, रोते रोते कि कृष्ण ने ऐसा कर दिया. So Jarasandh got so angry, he attacked Mathura with 21 Akshauni army. In the entire battlefield of Kurukshetra, the total army was 18 Akshani, 11 by Kauravas and 7 Akshani by Pandavas. What is 1 Akshani? 1 Akshani means 1,05,000 foot soldiers plus 65,500 odd warriors on horses, 21,600 odd elephant warriors, and 21,600 chariot warriors. So that is 1 Akshani. Multiply that by 11, that was the strength of Kaurava's army. And multiply that by 7, that was the strength of Pandava army. So total was 18. And Jarasandh brought 21 or 23 Akshani to attack Mathura. And when Krishna and Balaram came to know, without wanting to cause any inconvenience to anyone in Mathura, they both came out on their chariots, and just 2 of them destroyed his army and captured Jarasandh. But then they let him go. That was a big insult for a Kshatriya. They prefer to die in the battlefield than to be given their life in begging. As a beggar, say, chalo, daan de diya tum, in charity. So it was an insult, but Krishna let him go. And Jarasandh brought this much army every time, 17 times. Every time Krishna would let him go, he would gather more army and come back and attack again, thinking that this time he would win. So he was the height of positive thinking. If you have to give any example of positive thinking, give Jarasandh's example. And he's not seeing that akele Krishna Balram usko khatam kar rahe hain. And he would come back again. And why was Krishna letting him go every time? Because Krishna appears to destroy the demonic forces. So यहाँ पे एक home delivery हो रहा था. Krishna knew he would go back, he would get more demons of his side, and Krishna could just kill them rather than he having to go to them. But 18th time when he attacked, there was another king of the name Kalyavan who was planning to attack Mathura. Now this Kalyavan had some 36 ka ankada with the Yadu dynasty. He had felt insulted at some point. Garga Muni. There was some offense against him. So that time he had said that a day will come then where you Yadus, you are so fearless, one day you will be scared by a low-class person, a Yavana. So this Yavana, Kalyavan, he performed tapasya to please Lord Shiva. He said, I want to defeat the Yadus and conquer them. Lord Shiva said, Baba, thoda soch samajh kar baat kiya karo. That you can't do because Krishna is there. Jayastu Pandu Putranam Yesham Pakshe Janardana. He said, this you can't do. Because you have pleased me, you have performed my worship. I can give you a benediction that one day you will be able to scare them. For a day only, but usse zyada nahi kar sakte. Because one Acharya sings, Bhajahure man Shri Nanda Nandana, Abhaya Charanar Vindare. If one wants to be fearless, he must take shelter of the lotus feet of Nanda Nandan, that is Krishna. If you are ever experiencing anxiety, worry, fearfulness, just remember Krishna's lotus feet. So how can you scare people where Krishna is personally present? So Shiva said, all right, I'll give you this benediction. For one day you will be able to create fear amongst the Yadus. So this demon was also planning to attack Kalyavan. and Jarasandha was attacking from the other side. So Krishna this time thought, this is unnecessarily going to cause anxiety to the residents of Mathura. So overnight, when they were sleeping, he ordered Vishwakarma, the architect of the demigods, and he built a city right in the middle of the ocean at Dwarka. And the Mathura Vasis, they slept in Mathura, they woke up in Dwarka. Imagine if all of us had that kind of mystic power. So the travel agencies, they would all collapse. Who would need it? So in Dwarka, Krishna, the king is Ugrasena, Krishna's grandfather. And Krishna is like a humble servant to him. He's playing the part of a human being, so he respects all relationships. And in a city life, you have diplomacy. Sab hota hai. Because cities are full of mode of passion. Villages are in the mode of goodness. And people are running after, they are achievers. They want to accomplish things. And that's why when they are in that mode of passion, they also get affected by the qualities of mode of passion. Anger, greed, irritation, ये सब आ जाता है उस चीज़ में. When you associate with these kind of modes, the kind of food people eat, the kind of desires they cultivate, the kind of people they associate with. So there was a king of the name Satrajit in Dwarka, within the kingdom of Dwarka. Now when you hear this story, hear this carefully, because there is a benediction given by Shukadeva Goswami for those who speak this story or those who hear or who even remember. Okay, maybe I'll just read the exact words. That would be nice. What is in it for me? Let me answer that so it will be more attentive. The story of that anyone who hears this story, hears the story of the Shamantak jewel, or describes it, or simply remembers it, will be free from all kinds of defamation and the reactions of all impious activities, and thus will attain the highest perfectional condition of peace. सिर्फ सुनने से इसको, या कहने से, या रिमेंबर करने से. So, अगर आप लोगों का किसी ने नाम खराब किया है, कभी reputation बिगाड़ा है, all that will be taken care just by hearing this story because of the blessings that will come. So Krishna is described as the real person and we are like the image in the mirror. So whatever we do offer to Krishna, we get it back. If we make him smile, he'll put a smile on our face. Like the real person smiles, the reflection in the mirror also smiles. So we are like the reflection. If we put a necklace around the neck of the real person, it all automatically appears around our neck as well. So when we talk about a story where Krishna was defamed and how he cleared his name, then we also are purified of these faults which are sometimes attached to our character. So जो भी चीज़ करना है, if you beautify Krishna, your beauty will increase. तो जो लोग श्रृंगार करते हैं भगवान का या सेवा करते हैं, so Krishna will exchange his opulences with you. So there was this king of the name Satrajit within Dwarka, and he was a great devotee of sun god Suryadev. So Suryadev was extremely pleased with him, and he became quite friendly with Satrajit. And he was so pleased, so happy with him, that Suryadev offered him a very, very precious jewel called the Shamantak jewel. He was very happy. So before we ask something from anyone, any person, जाते लिस्ट लेके अरे ये चाहिए वो चाहिए. इंस्टेड दैट्स कॉल्ड बिजनेस. दुकान पे जाते हैं ना, चलो ये दे दो, वी गिव समथिंग, चले गए. रिलेशनशिप नहीं बनेगा. But instead, therefore it is said, when we go in front of God, instead of asking anything from Him, we should simply do something to please Him. When He is pleased, He'll give better than the best. He'll give much more than what we desire. And that is true for every personality. आप लोगों को भी अगर आपसे कोई सिर्फ मांगते रहे, you might give it because you are a kind-hearted person. But somebody who pleases you, उसको तो आप बिना मांगे ही देंगे ना. If you are pleased with someone, you would think about that person's welfare all the time. So even the demons knew this. They would first please Brahma or Shiva, then they would ask. ऐसे नहीं सीधा जाते, ये लिस्ट लेके खड़े हो गए, चलो ये दे दीजिए, ये दे दीजिए, ये दे दीजिए. So Satyajit pleased Suryadev so much that Suryadev rewarded him with this precious jewel, Shamantak jewel. और इसका क्या क्वालिटी क्या था, अभी तक अगर आप लोग एक्साइटेड नहीं हुए शमंतक ज्वेल का नाम सुन के. Wherever this jewel was present, that place would never experience any disturbance, any inauspiciousness. No famine, no droughts, nothing, no excessive heat or cold, कुछ भी नहीं. There would be prosperity. Does that get you excited? No? Then now it will. This jewel had a special power. Every day it would produce 170 pounds of pure gold. Now, wherever it was kept. So that means the person would become fabulously rich. How does that sound now? Huh? Amazing? अभी निकल रहे हैं शब्द. जैसे कि एक बार एक साधु थे, he is giving a lecture and he is asking his audience, look, I have a deity of Ravan and I have a deity of Ram. कौन सा लेंगे आप लोग? I ask you the same question. Then he said, but I forgot to tell you something. Everybody said that Ram. But I forgot to tell you one thing, that Ram's deity is made up of ordinary mud, and Ravana's deity is made of pure gold. Now, आप भूल जाइए आप सत्संग में बैठे हैं, आप ऐसे क्लब हाउस में बैठे हैं और आपको लाके ये दोनों में कौन सा लेंगे आप? हाँ जी, रावण. कुछ लोग हैं. ठीक है. So who we choose will decide where we get in life. Like Duryodhan and Arjun. Duryodhana wanted his army and Arjuna just wanted Krishna. Krishna said, Arjuna, why are you asking for me? I'm not even going to fight, not going to lift any weapons. It's a battle, you need army. Arjuna said, nahi, aap hi theek hai, aap hi chahiye humko. And Duryodhana was happy getting the army. But then Krishna again insisted, Arjuna, are you mad? Why would you want me? Take the army, invincible army. Yadu dynasty ki sabse powerful army hai. He said, no. Again Krishna insisted, you might lose the war, हार जाओगे, जीतने के लिए army चाहिए. Then finally Arjuna just spoke, see, look, Krishna, we are not concerned, we don't give a damn about losing this war. All we want is you by our side. Whether we win or lose, we don't care. हमको हार जीत से कोई मतलब नहीं, हमको सिर्फ आप चाहिए. And that one choice made them victorious. दुर्योधन was so happy कि आर्मी मिल गई. उस आदमी को इतना बुद्धि नहीं था कि अगर जिस आदमी की आर्मी इतनी पावरफुल है तो वो खुद कितना पावरफुल होगा. वो आर्मी लेके खुश हो गया. तो उसको मेंटालिटी सोचिए, वहीं तक सोच सकता है. So the army of Krishna represent his opulences, and then on one side we have Krishna. So who do we choose? Either his opulences or Krishna. That will decide whether we are Duryodhan or Arjun. Hamara choices. Whatever we are in, today is the result of the choices that we have made in the past. So if we prioritize Krishna, he will never let us lose. We might lose some battles in life, but we'll win the ultimate war. जब choice की बात आए तो always prioritize Krishna. So this Shamantak jewel, how did it come to Surya Dev? उनके पास कहाँ से आया? So Krishna and Balaram, they go back to Vrindavan. So they were with their gopis. They have different sets of gopis. And there was a person of the name Shankhachud, who was an associate of Kamsa. And gopis, Krishna, Balaram, they are laughing, they are having good time, they are chilling. And there is a place called Ratna Kund in Govardhan, Vrindavan. And this person is passing by and sees these two young boys with these beautiful girls. Why should they be with these girls? I deserve them. So Siddha aa gaya. And he started dragging all the girls away. And Krishna and Balaram like shocked, he kahan se aa gaya beech mein achanak se? So Krishna told Balaram, you take care of the other gopis, I'll take care of him. And Krishna killed him. But he had a very precious jewel on his forehead. Krishna took that away. Now Krishna brought this beautiful shining jewel, and naturally, whom did he want to gift it to? Radharani. और किसको देंगे? All those boys who ever fell in love, they would relate to this, or the girls. Till that point, everything you share with your family, the best things. But when you fall in love, then you start. In general also, the person you love the most, you want to offer the best. चाहे siblings है, या parents है, children है. So Krishna obviously wanted to gift it to Radharani. But problem क्या है? बड़े भैया सामने हैं. Balaram is around. So he, भैया आपके लिए. But Balaram ji knew Krishna के heart में क्या है. So he took it and then he offered it to Radharani only. घूम फिर के आ गया. Balaram knows Krishna's heart. So Radharani worships Surya Dev in the Leela. She doesn't need to, but she is playing the part of a young girl, cowherd girl. So she worships Surya Dev for continual association of Krishna. She prays to Surya Dev. Every day she goes to worship Surya Dev. Govardhan के पास एक जगह है सूर्य कुंड. And sometimes Krishna dresses up and he troubles her वहाँ पे. Beautiful leelas take place. He dresses up sometimes as Gauri, that means Durga Devi. So she gifted it to Surya Dev. Because when Krishna left Vrindavan, sometimes people get confused. Why did Krishna not marry Radharani? Why did he marry queens? So many queens. यहाँ तो एक से भी शादी नहीं की और वहाँ पर की तो एक साथ ही 16,108. हाँ, कई बार होते हैं लोग इंटरमिटेंट फास्टिंग. 16 घंटे कुछ नहीं खाओ और उसके 16 घंटे के बाद पूरा वीक में कुछ मत खाओ और एक वेडिंग में गए वहाँ पे. Some people fast throughout the week so that they can eat over the weekend. क्या ऑस्टेरिटी है ना, तपस्या. Hats off. So all the gopis of Vrindavan only appeared in Dwarka as the queens. They took different roles. Because in Vrindavan, Krishna is a playful cowherd boy, and वैसे ही लीलाज है. In Dwarka, he is a king, and the king needs a queen. So therefore he gets married. He plays the part of a prince, a king. So Radharani, after Krishna left, this is in the Puranas. You won't find it in Bhagavat, because Bhagavat mein Shukdev Goswami just spoke the most important parts, because he only had 7 days, 7 nights. But the Puranas explain how Radharani, ultimately, she entered Jamuna, and Jamuna also happens to be the daughter of Surya Dev. And I'm forgetting the details, but then she ended up staying on the Surya planet. Surya brought her because she was not able to live in We are held responsible for all the choices that we make. Animals are not. They're not blessed with their independence. But since we have that ability, so we are also accountable for the choices that we make. Satyajit, when he got this jewel, it was so effulgent. He put it around his neck, and just to show off, नया jewelry लिया है. So he comes to the party. No party. He comes to Dwarka. And when he enters Dwarka, everybody thinks, because they knew Satyajit kaun hai, but they couldn't recognize him because he was just covered with the effulgence of that jewel. Itni chamak thi. Everyone thought that Surya Dev is coming to Dwarka to pay a visit to Krishna, because regularly people would come, all these devatas would come and pay respects to Krishna. So they were used to it. So they were so fascinated. And some of the prominent citizens of Dwarka, they went to Krishna. And Krishna was busy at that time playing chess. शतरंज खेल रहे थे. So यहाँ chess लिखा है, but they used to play something called Chaucer वगैरह. वो क्या होता है मुझे भी पता नहीं, इसलिए पूछिएगा मत. पता है मतलब कैसे खेलते हैं वो पता नहीं. आप लोग खेलते हैं चौसर? किसी ने खेला है? दिवाली वाली में कुछ दाव पे लगाते हैं बहुत कुछ. आप लोग दूसरा एकदम दूसरे टाइप का खेलते हैं लगता है. अच्छा आप बताइए मुझे, ये दिवाली के समय ये जुआ खेलने का कहाँ से प्रथा शुरू हुआ है? What is Diwali? Diwali means Lord Ram is welcomed back home. तो ये कहाँ से शुरू हो गया है कि पत्ते खेलने ही हैं, जुआ खेलना ही है? I have heard people losing crores also during these occasions. मतलब भगवान के नाम पर हम लोग भगवान को भी हमने यूज़ करना शुरू कर दिया है अपनी इंजॉयमेंट के लिए, और कितना गिरेंगे हम लोग. These are the occasions where we should try and accumulate as many blessings as possible by properly welcoming the Lord, celebrating this occasion, and we end up doing everything. Diwali parties, Holi parties. अरे करना है बाकी समय कीजिए, पूरा साल पड़ा है, but these sacred occasions, don't just misuse them to do the same thing that we keep doing throughout the year. कहाँ से शुरू हो गया? I don't know. I'm not saying don't do it, but do it at other times. साल पड़ा है आपके पास. ये जो special days आते हैं, they are just filled with grace, God's grace. और उसको भी हम लोग ऐसा misuse कर देते हैं. So Krishna, people came and they were first they glorified Krishna. आते ही नहीं शुरू कृष्णा कृष्णा. जाते किसी बड़े आदमी के सामने जाएं तो जाते ही अपना इश्यूज या कोई एजेंडा एक्सप्रेस नहीं करते हैं. We just try and make him comfortable, we glorify. So they glorified Krishna, and then they said, Krishna, Surya Dev has come to meet you. And Krishna of course knew this is not Surya Dev, and he smiled. He said, no, it's not Surya Dev, it's Satyajit only. He has just come to show off his jewel. And now Satyajit, but he didn't come to meet Krishna. Attachment, material attachment. जब आदमी खुद attached होता है तो उसको सामने वाले भी attached ही दिखते हैं. If one is cunning, he will see everybody else as cunning. If one is pure, he will see everybody else as pure. The world is a reflection of our own consciousness. We discussed yesterday, we see others as we are, not as they are. तो अगर हमको सब जगह एकदम पुण्य आत्माएं दिखती हैं, मतलब everybody we see as a really good person, that means we are good. The way people treat you is a statement about them, not you. That applies to us also. If somebody is treating us nicely, that means that person is nice. It's got nothing to do with us. तो उस समय हमको overly elated नहीं होना चाहिए. And if person is treating us badly, that also we shouldn't take seriously, because that just goes to show his mentality. वो बेकार है. हम बेकार नहीं हैं। इसके लिए कभी भी बुरा मानने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं है। कुछ अगर अपशब्द कह के कोई जाता है, वो तो सिर्फ अपना स्टैंडर्ड दिखा रहा है। एंड इफ समबडी इज प्रेजिंग अस बिकॉज दैट पर्सन इज प्योर, दैट पर्सन इज गुड, ही इज गॉट अ प्योर कॉन्शियसनेस, सो वो प्योरिटी मुझ में देख रहा है। तो इस तरह से हम लोग वी कैन ऑलवेज मैनेज द डुअलिटीज एंड वी कैन रिमेन पॉजिटिव। कोई आदमी आपको बोले यू आर यूजलेस, तो कैसा रिएक्शन होता है आपका? हाँ, अरे एवरीबडी हैज़ बीन प्रेजिंग मी, बट ये आदमी यूजलेस कैसे बोल, हमारा माइंड उस पर ही अटक जाएगा। तो जब कोई आदमी, इफ़ यू वांट टू रिमेन पॉजिटिव, इट जस्ट द थॉट प्रोसेस। यहाँ पे आप क्या प्रोसेस करते हैं, दैट विल डिसाइड वेदर यू आर मिजरेबल और हैप्पी और यू आर अनअफेक्टेड और अफेक्टेड। तो अगर कोई आके बोल दे यू आर यूजलेस, तो ऐसा मत सोचिए इसने ऐसा क्यों बोला, ऐसा सोचिए इसको पता कैसे चला। You will remain positive. इसको पता कैसे चला? See, everything is here. यहाँ पे क्या है बस? Just like a teacher was teaching his students a nice story, short but important. He brought a glass of water into his classroom and he picked it up for a few seconds, put it down, said, "What did I just do? You picked up a glass full of water." He said, "Did it hurt me?" "No." Then he held it for 10 seconds. Now what? He said, "Nothing." He put it down. Then he held it for 30 seconds. Slight inconvenience. I said, "Now if I hold it for 5 minutes, more inconvenience. What if I hold it for 30 minutes? My hand will start aching." Now the weight of the glass has not changed. But how much it hurts me depends on how longer I hold it. सेम चीज़ है, कितनी देर उसको मैं पकड़ के रखता हूँ उतनी देर ही वो हर्ट करेगा हमको। जितनी देर हम उस चीज़ को यहाँ रखेंगे तभी तक वो चीज़ हर्ट करेगा। सो जस्ट चेंजिंग द माइंड सेट इज इम्पॉर्टेंट। वो बोल के चला गया, वो तो उसका नेचर दिखा रहा है, ख़त्म करो बात। सो बिकॉज सत्यजीत वॉज वेरी अटैच्ड, ही थॉट मैं कृष्ण के पास जाऊंगा तो कृष्ण ये ज्वेल ले लेंगे, जैसे अरे कृष्णा इज द प्रिंस एंड एवरीबडी न्यू हु कृष्णा इज, सुप्रीम लॉर्ड। लेकिन अगर मेरा अटैचमेंट है तो हमको लगता है कि कृष्णा विल टेक इट। ऐसा मेंटालिटी है सोसाइटी में, वो हम लोग कृष्ण की सेवा नहीं करें, मैं कृष्णा इज हरि, वो सब छीन लेंगे, उनके पास और भी काम है। He has better things to do and he has better things than us, और जो हमारा है वो भी उनका ही है। So कभी भी ये मत सोचिए कि we offer anything to Krishna will be the loser. We will never lose anything, we'll gain 1,000 times in return. So he just went to his house, his palace, and he installed this Shamantak jewel inside a temple, hired brahmanas to worship it every day. And every day it was producing large quantity of gold. तो उससे उसका जो वेल्थ था बढ़ने लगा। He had a brother of the name Prasena. अभी तो मूवी शुरू हुई है। प्रसेना, तो वो भी वैसा ही है, birds of a feather flock together. You tell me who you associate with and I will tell you who you are. Association से ही सब पता चलता है। तो कई बार we associate with people who are like this, they are cunning, they are fault finders, they are critical. कुछ लोगों का काम ही यही होता है and we think हम तो कुछ नहीं, बस कुछ नहीं करेंगे, but we just associate with them, करना पड़ता है। It's just a matter of time before we become like them. It is just a matter of time. Even if we don't have any reciprocation, आदान प्रदान उनके, just by associating with them, gradually the desires of their heart will enter our heart and we'll become like them. The association has to be chosen carefully. So उसका एक भाई था प्रसेन, वो भी ऐसा ही है। तो he took out that jewel and गले में पहन के he wanted to show off now the wealth of his family. He took a horse and went into the forest. सबको दिखाते दिखाते forest में चला गया। मतलब जंगल में किसको दिखाने की जरूरत थी अभी? पर चला गया. And there a lion saw that jewel. तो उससे वो whatever the lion thought, and the lion attacked and killed him. And the lion also took away that jewel. The lion is supposed to be the king. Now, close by also resided a very special personality. आज भी अगर आप द्वारका जाएं, द्वारका के पास पोरबंदर है अराउंड 70-80 किलोमीटर्स, तो वहीं पे there is a cave where resided a very powerful personality from Treta Yuga. He was in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga also, and Dwapar. Jambavan. Ramayana से याद है Jambavan? A very powerful personality. So he resided. He has a long life. So when he came to know, the news reached him, I don't know how, there were no WhatsApp groups उस समय उनके पास, but he came to know a lion had killed this person and there is a jewel that the lion is lying around. He came out and with bare hands he killed the lion, बिना किसी weapon के, took away the jewel. Now he is a great devotee. He is not interested in this wealth. So he didn't pay much attention to the jewel. He gave it to his son to play with it as a toy. बच्चे को खेलने के लिए दे दिया ये. And इधर प्रसेना is gone. And द्वारका में अफरा तफरी, डिस्टर्बेंस, प्रसेन वापस नहीं आया है. वो गया था ज्वेल लेकर, तो सब तरफ ऐसा बातें होने लग गई. Rumors started spreading and Satyajit was the main person. And he started spreading, which was all over Dwarka, that Krishna actually wanted that jewel. कृष्ण को चाहिए था और कृष्ण को जब मिला नहीं तो उसने मेरे भाई को मार दिया होगा और ज्वेल लेके बैठ गया है. सोचिए कि मटेरियल वर्ल्ड इज सच के भगवान भी आते हैं, उनके ऊपर भी ऐसे लांछन लगते हैं, तो हम कौन हैं? तो इसके लिए डोंट फील बैड if people misunderstand you, blame you for things that you have not done. The world is like that. People have that kind of lowest type of consciousness where they just can't think of anything better. काम ही वही है, उतना ही सोच सकते हैं. राम के ऊपर नहीं लगा क्या? सीता जी के ऊपर नहीं लगा क्या? तो ये दुनिया ऐसी है, जगत ऐसा है, क्योंकि everyone in this world is a rebellious soul. वो क्वालिटीज रहेंगे. क्या कर सकते हैं कि जब भगवान को नहीं छोड़ते, मटेरियल वर्ल्ड है. द लॉर्ड इज शोइंग थ्रू हिज एग्जाम्पल दैट इवन इफ आई कम टू दिस वर्ल्ड आई ऑल्सो हैव टू गो थ्रू दिस. तो पूरे द्वारका में आग की तरह खबर फैल गई कि कृष्णा ने ये काम किया है. एंड देन कृष्णा वाज लाइक, नाउ आई हैव टू क्लियर माय नेम ऑफ दिस कंट्रोवर्सी. सो कृष्णा, नाउ एज द सुपर सोल इन एवरीवन्स हार्ट, ही ऑलवेज नोज एवरीथिंग, क्या है क्या नहीं है. So he went into the forest. He didn't go alone. If he had a mobile, he would have gone alone. कोई problem नहीं है, video shoot करके भेज देते. But at that time he didn't have that facility. So he took some of the leading citizens of Dwarka with him into the forest because he wanted to prove that it wasn't him who had done this. तो उसके लिए लोगों का देखना जरूरी था ना, witness. He went into the forest, and as they entered, not far from Dwarka, into the forest, they found Prasena's dead body. And slight distance, they also found the lion dead. But Krishna could not find the jewel. But Krishna knows kahan kya hoga. So he straight went to that cave. He asked the Dwarka Vasis, "You wait for me outside." He entered the cave. And there Krishna saw, it's a beautiful cave. अभी भी आप जाएंगे ना, वहाँ पे है वो. You can enter, you can chill, have picnic, जो करना है, खाना पीना. द्वारका में है वो cave. I had gone, I think 3-4 years back. We sat there for almost half an hour. Underground है, but spread over maybe 100-200 meters. इतना तो है. Or maybe more than that, you don't know. So Krishna saw, and this child is playing with the jewel. He went and stood in front of the child. At that time, a nurse was taking care of the child. She saw Krishna. Suddenly, कहाँ से आ गया? She चिल्लाई जोर से, जोर से चिल्लाई वो. Okay, because she thought Krishna has come to take away the jewel. And suddenly, Jamban, in great anger, came running, and he saw this person. Now, Jamban is a great devotee. अभी जब devotee कोई होता है, भगवान किसी भी रूप में है, वो पहचान लेता है. But Jamban came in an angry mood. So anger covered his intelligence, couldn't recognize. And there was a different reason also, internal reason as well. He attacked Krishna. So Krishna started fighting, Jamban is fighting. First they were fighting with weapons. मिलेगा, सबको मिलेगा. आप लोग इधर ही ध्यान रखिए. आप लोगों के लिए ऑफर हो रहा है. सबका ध्यान ही उधर चला गया. We have enough. Don't worry. Share नहीं करना पड़ेगा किसी को. So first they were fighting with weapons, then with stones, then they were fighting with trees, and then they were fighting with hands, then they were hitting each other with fists. और बाहर वेट करते करते द्वारका वासियों को 12 दिन बीत गए, 12 days. And they finally thought कुछ तो गड़बड़ हो गया. I think Krishna is not going to return. They went back to Dwarka. And again the news spread. Krishna is lost. And imagine the state of affairs in Dwarka उसके बाद. Everybody was devastated. Devaki, Balram, Vasudev, Ugrasen. And the fight underneath went on for 27 days. And each and every limb of Jamban was aching. And Krishna looked as fresh as ever. And that's when Jamban realized this is no ordinary person. Because Jamban knew his strength also. Nobody on this planet could defeat him except the Supreme Lord, his worshipable Lord. So he understood this is my worshipable Lord only. That's why, and as soon as he realized that, immediately he could understand this is Krishna. And then he surrendered. And Krishna was happy, he offered beautiful prayers. And Jamban was so happy that Krishna had come to his humble cave. He offered him the jewel. Krishna said, look, I want to clear my name of this controversy. You have to give me this. So Krishna को भी अपना नाम सुधारना था, करना पड़ा. And then Jamban was happy. He didn't just give him one jewel, he gave him 2. He had a daughter of marriageable age called Jambavati. And he gave Krishna his daughter also in marriage. So 16,108 queens that Krishna married in Dwarka, none of them were proposed by Krishna. ऐसा नहीं कि कृष्ण द्वारका जाते ही I didn't get to marry in Vrindavan, let me just go all out in Dwarka. ऐसा नहीं था. Every queen, they proposed to Krishna. They reached out. And as God, it is his duty to accept or give shelter to anyone who approaches with whatever bhav. Out of these, 16,100 were held captive by a demon called Narakasur. So Krishna released them, and then they said nobody else would accept us. We have lived with a demon, yet forcibly imprisoned us. So Krishna accepted. Other 8 also, Jambavati was given to him by Jamban. Rukmini, she herself wanted. It's a very entertaining story how Rukmini got married to Krishna. Krishna kidnapped her. We'll take it up in some other episode or other katha series. So Jamavati, so Krishna came back to Dwarka, everybody was elated now. Everyone is happy. So now Satyajit, now the news has spread again that it was not Krishna. Satyajit is feeling very, very sad that he defamed Krishna so much. Still he was materially attached. So in front of all the residents of leading citizens of Dwarka, in front of Maharaj Ugrasen, Krishna brought that jewel. Satyajit was also invited by Maharaj Ugrasen. And at that point, Satyajit was called forward and Krishna gave him the jewel. He didn't want to keep it. But Satyajit couldn't look into his eyes. He kept his head down and just in his hands collected the jewel and left. But he wanted to repent for the mistake that he had done. So he was thinking constantly, kya kiya jaye, kya kiya jaye, kya kiya jaye. So he decided to give his daughter Satyabhama in marriage to Krishna. And so he gave not just Satyabhama but the jewel as well. But Krishna knew his heart that he didn't really want to offer or part with this jewel. So he returned the jewel. He said, let this jewel be with you inside the temple so that all the Dwarka Vasis would benefit from this. Satyajit was very happy. Chalo, finally, apne paas hi reh gaya. Kaam bhi ho gaya, saamp bhi mar gaya aur मतलब हमने दे दिया अपनी तरफ से, अभी कृष्ण ने नहीं लिया तो क्या करें. So now यहाँ पे एक इंसिडेंट हुआ कि Krishna was related to the Pandavas. He was always keeping a watch over what is happening to Pandavas. So a news reached that the Pandavas had been burnt alive. वो जो महाभारत में इंसिडेंट आता है, दुर्योधना burnt them alive, but they were saved. So Balram and Krishna knew they were not dead, but they were acting as human beings. So they also went to Hastinapur to attend, you can say in today's language, the prayer meet. And they were crying when they met Bhishma and others who were actually concerned about the Pandavas. But the other Kauravas were very happy. At this point, there was another king of the name Shatadhanva in Dwarka. And उसको बहुत गुस्सा हो चुका था. क्यों? Typical, just like एक वो स्टोरी होता है ना, कई बार बॉलीवुड मूवीज में आपने देखा होगा, अगर तुम हमको ना चाहो तो कोई बात नहीं, अगर किसी और को चाहो तो मुश्किल होगी. तो ऐसा कुछ हो गया. Now this Satyajit had promised Shatadhanva that he would give his daughter Satyabhama in marriage to him. लेकिन उसकी शादी कर दी कृष्ण से. तो शतधन्वा को बहुत गुस्सा आया उसको. And then there were other people, Kritavarma and Akrura. They instigated him. They also got involved in the conspiracy. They said, because they wanted the jewel for Krishna and Satyajit had refused to do it. But they got involved in the controversy and they instigated Shatadhanva to kill Satyajit. And Satyajit ko to chahiye hi wahi tha. तो उसने one night he just entered and the palace resident just woke up, but Krishna was not around, and he butchered Satyajit while he was sleeping. Literally like an animal is butchered in front of him, the other residents, other ladies of the palace. So Shatadhanva is now has accomplished what he wanted to. But the thing is, Akrura got involved, Kritavarma, they were devotees of the Lord. How could they get involved in such a controversy? The explanation is given. Akrura was responsible for bringing Krishna and Balaram from Vrindavan to Mathura. So he had hurt the residents of Vrindavan. So they had cursed him. See, even if we are doing good work as a part of the Lord's plan, still if we hurt someone, the reaction has to come. So Akrur ko bhi a controversy mein, his intelligence got contaminated because of this mistake. That he had not done, with some bad intention to bring Krishna and Balaram to Mathura. It was the Lord's plan only, but the residents of Vrindavan were hurt. How did Kritavarma got involved? How did he get involved? Because of his association with Kamsa, his intelligence got contaminated. कंस के साथ उसने थोड़ा एसोसिएशन किया था, तो जो कंसा was a sinful person. So when we associate with sinful people, we also share their share of sins. Just by associating with them, we also get those sinful reactions. तो कितना इम्पोर्टेंस दिया गया एसोसिएशन को. हम भले ही पाप ना करें, बट इफ वी एसोसिएट विद पीपल हु आर सिंफुल, वी ऑल्सो हैव टू शेयर द रिएक्शंस. Now Krishna, the Satyabhama, her father had been killed. She was crying like a mother cow who had lost her calf, wailing constantly. And they didn't let the body to be cremated because Satyabhama first wanted Krishna to come and see. She went to Hastinapur and she informed Krishna and Balaram. Krishna, although he knows everything, is not attached, but is acting as the husband of Satyabhama, acting as a human being. He started crying because he had lost his father-in-law. So he came back. And when he came back, the news spread again. So Akrura immediately left Dwarka, भाग गए. No, अक्रूर के पास क्या हुआ? शतधन्वा. Shatadhanva, even though he was not a devotee, but he was scared of Krishna. He knew who Krishna was. Everyone knew. तो फटाफट अक्रूर के पास आया, पहले मुझे बचा लो, मुझे बचा लो. Akrur said, Baba, you know who Krishna is. He's the Supreme Lord, he and Balaram. If they decide to kill someone, nobody can save him. And if they decide to save someone, nobody can kill him. So मैं कुछ नहीं कर सकता, and I will never go against Krishna. तो शतधन्वा ने क्या किया? वो ज्वेल निकाला, अक्रूर के हाथ में फेंका, चला गया, भाग गया वहाँ से, द्वारका छोड़ दी. And Krishna enters, and now the jewel is with Akrura. And when Krishna comes, Akrura also leaves Dwarka. वो भी चले जाते हैं डर के मारे. And now Krishna has to avenge the death of his father-in-law. So he mounts his chariot and they go after Shatadhanva. Shatadhanva used a horse which could run 400 miles at a stretch. But after that, the horse collapsed and died. And then he started running on foot. Krishna and Balaram, just to make sure it was a fair fight, they also left their chariot. They were running behind him on foot. And finally, Krishna, he didn't need to reach him. He invoked his ultimate weapon, Sudarshan Chakra. And Sudarshan Chakra travels at a much greater speed. It chopped off Shatadhanva's head. Shatadhanva was dead. Then Krishna comes back, and by that time Akrura leaves Dwarka. So Krishna knows. He sent someone to Akrura, said, please tell him to come back. And when Akrura comes, Krishna speaks to him very gently because he happens to be his uncle. He said, no, you are such a noble soul. And I know very well that the jewel Shatadhanva has kept with you. Akrura didn't have to tell Krishna, he knows. He said, please, you return that jewel because I need to show it to the residents of Dwarka that I don't have it. Till now, the jewel has not been recovered. So they might think that I have stolen it again. So Akrurji understood that you could not hide anything from Krishna. So he took out that jewel, and in front of all the residents of Dwarka, Krishna presented that jewel, and eventually when Lord Krishna in friendly terms and sweet language impressed Akrura about the real fact, and Akrura understood that nothing could be concealed from the knowledge of Sri Krishna, he brought out the valuable jewel covered by cloth and shining like the sun and presented it before Krishna. Lord Krishna took the Shmantak jewel in his hand and showed it to all his relatives and friends present, and then returned the jewel to Akrura in their presence so that they would know that the jewel was actually being kept by Akrura in Dwarka city. So इस तरह से भगवान को अपना नाम इस कंट्रोवर्सी से क्लियर करना पड़ा. And then, as I mentioned, Shukdev Goswami gives the benediction. Anybody who hears this story, narrates this story, remembers this story, they'll be free from any kind of defamation. And also from the reactions to their impious activities. So jane anjane mein we end up committing impious activities also through our thoughts, through our words, through our actions. But by Krishna's grace, we are not held responsible for the activities, the wrong activities that we commit through our thoughts. अगर किसी को आपको abuse करना है ना, मन में कर लिया, you won't get any reaction. मन में जितनी गाली देनी है दीजिए. Only when it manifests through words and actions, that's when the reaction will start. That is the special mercy of Krishna in Kali Yuga. But अगर कुछ अच्छा आपने करने की सोची है और भले वो थॉट में भी है तो उसका आपको रिवॉर्ड जरूर मिलेगा. So even if you think good about someone, you will be rewarded for that. Even if you desire or you have a thought of doing some good deed, you will get the rewards. But bad deeds का कोई reaction नहीं आएगा thoughts में. So that is the special quality of Kali Yuga. Because other thought को लेकर भी अगर हमको reaction मिलना शुरू हो गए, imagine if the reaction was every time you have a wrong thought, you will get slapped. तो शायद सत्संग हो ही नहीं पाते ठीक से, टप ठप 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 आवाज़ें आती रहती बीच बीच में भी. हम लोग किसी मीटिंग में बैठे हैं. Imagine if somebody could play what's happening in our minds on a screen. कैसा होगा? हमारे माइंड में इस समय क्या चल रहा है? So even if we don't want it, the environment is surcharged with negativity. So even if we don't want to be negative, if we don't want to have sinful thoughts, wrong thoughts, we can't avoid it. We are being bombarded with that. And somehow the world is running based on that. The world is constantly trying to convince you that what you have is not enough. And you are not good enough. You need to do more. Take for example the phones. Every time, you use your phone for 2-3 things only. WhatsApp, calling, और क्या? YouTube? Social media basically, that's it. वो हर फोन में available है. Right? But then every year, some people get paid to convince you that what you have is not enough, there is something better. करना क्या? घूम फिर के उधर ही तो आते हैं हम लोग. When things are new, we are very excited. जैसे जब हम फ़ोन लेते हैं ना, तो first few days, maybe 7 days a week, every time we'll clean the screen. करते हैं कि नहीं? We'll wipe the screen के उसके ऊपर कोई वो spot ना आ जाए. And then we'll keep it very nicely. But एक हफ्ते बाद फिर गिर भी जाए कुछ फर्क और घूम फिर के फिर वही चीज़ करते हैं हम लोग. And we are being bombarded with this philosophy. What you have is not enough. It's not good enough to make you happy. And this will go on and on. If we want that everlasting happiness, that permanent happiness, we have to start connecting with things which can give you permanent rewards, which are of permanent nature. This is of that eternal nature. The soul by nature is eternal and Satchit Ananda. Sat means eternal, full of bliss and knowledge. So the sooner we start finding pleasure in these activities, the sooner we'll get that experience, that bliss we are looking for, hankering for all the time. जैसे I always give the example, आप एक साउथ इंडियन को कहीं भी ले जाइए दुनिया भर में. Who is a South Indian here? कल तो थे 2. Okay. आप इनको चलो, क्या नाम है आपका? सुजाता जी एंड अश्वथा. इनको आप दुनिया भर में कहीं भी ले जाइए घुमाने के लिए. हाउ लॉन्ग हैव यू बीन लिविंग इन मुंबई? ओके. सो आप उनको कहीं भी ले जाइए दुनिया भर में, अ टिपिकल साउथ इंडियन. आप उनको पिज़्ज़ा खिलाइए, आप उनको थाई फूड खिलाइए, आप उनको बर्गर खिलाइए, दुनिया भर में घुमा के, बट व्हाट विल एक्चुअली मेक देम हैप्पी? Do I need to say anything? Only when they get their sambar, idli, rice, dosa, because that food is natural to them. That's how they have been made. The bodies have been made. जो जिस व्यक्ति को जहाँ पे बर्थ मिलता है, कैसा बॉडी दिया जाता है, उसके पीछे एक पूरा साइंस है, भगवान का एक पूरा सिस्टम काम कर रहा है. और जब तक वो अपना नेचुरल फूड खाएंगे तभी तक दे विल बी सेटिस्फाइड, और वो उनको नरिश भी करेगा बॉडी को. जैसे एक famous dietitian रुजुता दवेकर, what does she say? And I actually wrote to her about this, that this is a Gita concept and I always quote her. No matter where you are, you should always eat food of your native place. And Gita also mentions this, कि हमारा जो बॉडी अगर भगवान ने हमको किसी तरह से बनाया है तो कुछ तो रीज़न होगा ना उस चीज़ के पीछे, कारण होगा. तो आप कहीं पर भी हैं, आपके नेटिव प्लेस का ही फूड आपको एक्चुअल में वो सेटिस्फाई करेगा, नरिश करेगा. सो मुझे देख लीजिए, मैं कहीं पर भी हूँ, मुझे वो नॉर्थ इंडियन चाहिए ही चाहिए, कितना भी कोशिश कर लो आप. सो आई गेट एक्साइटेड व्हेन आई सी ग्रीन चिली. तब तक आई एम नॉट इंटरेस्टेड. ऐसा है. अभी आप किसी गुजराती को ले जाइए, हाँ, हाउ मेनी गुजरातीज़ हियर? नो, ऑल ऑफ देम नहीं, ऐसा मत बोलिए. आप लोग तो चाहिए तो पूरी दुनिया को गुजराती नेम कर देंगे, आपका बस चले तो. ऑल ऑफ देम. आप उनको ले जाइए कहीं पर भी. हाँ सोनाली जी, इनको ले जाइए कहीं पर भी. ऑफ कोर्स ये थोड़े बदल गए होंगे मुंबई में रह के, आई होप सो, बट उनको वही चाहिए अपना थेपला. व्हेन दे ट्रैवल दे हैव टू हैव लाइक 10 बैग्स, उसमें से 8 में खाने का होगा सामान, 2 में उनके कपड़े वगैरह होंगे. other things, etc. food etc. ऐसा. तो they have to carry like 200 theplas. करते हैं ना? If you are going out for 15 days, how many theplas do you carry? Okay, who are the Gujaratis here? Raise your hand. Shefali ji, how many theplas maximum you have carried? And how many days? Oh my God. 6 days, 150. इसके ऊपर कौन है? I know Shloka carries 200 when she goes to London because she works there. Shloka, am I right? 200? हाँ, but 200. Okay. 300. She has improved. और कौन है 10 दिन के लिए कोई गया है बियॉन्ड 150 लेकर? एनीवन? कोई है ऐसा? शर्मा रहे हैं लोग अभी. 200 किसी ने कभी कैरी किया है? अभी कोई बताएगा ही नहीं. तो आप कहीं भी ले जाइए उनको, दे नीड दैट नेचुरल फूड. उनका मतलब आप कुछ भी ले जाओ, उनको शक्कर डालना ही है ऊपर. आई नो पीपल, वो पिज़्ज़ा भी देंगे उनको तो शक्कर डाल के ही खाएंगे वो लोग. खिचड़ी देंगे तो शक्कर डाल के ही खाएंगे उनको. तो ऐसे हैं लोग इधर. सो बिकॉज दैट फूड इज़ नेचुरल, दैट गिव्स देम हैप्पीनेस. दैट ब्रिंग्स अस टू आवर मेन पॉइंट, that we are spiritual by nature and we are looking for happiness, we are looking for pleasure. So we have to start tasting food which is natural to us. Eternally, naturally we are spiritual, so only these things which are of spiritual nature can make us happy, truly happy, satisfied. तो आप कहीं भी रहें दुनिया में, अपना ये फूड खाना मत छोड़िए. Food for the body is different, food for the soul is different, and we are the soul. ऐसा नहीं कि एक दिन मुझे भूख लगी है मैं आपको फ़ोन कर दूं, अरे थोड़ा कुछ खा लो, मुझे भूख लगी हुई है. That won't satisfy my hunger. I have to eat. So similarly, you keep providing nourishment to your body, but do something for your own self also. Your food is different. That is spiritual. Bhagavat, the name of God, the service to Krishna, scriptures. These are the things which are the food for the soul. The more we keep eating it, the more we are happy. Then whether we have everything or nothing, nothing would bother us. We'll be completely at peace. Understand your identity and then eat food which is natural to you no matter where you are. That will make you happy. So thank you very much. That brings us to the end of our 3-day Bhagavat series celebrating Krishna. And may Krishna always occupy your thoughts, your words, your actions, your entire life. And you may always think of him. Because as Krishna says in the Gita, we don't have to stop work. While we work, we have to think of him. Work at the same time, remember me. That's what Krishna wants. And the more we remember Krishna, the more all the impediments from our life, they are destroyed. They are gone. So remembrance is the key. And to remember him, we need to hear about him more often, regularly. So again, gratitude to all the 3 devotees, Neeruji and Preeti ji. She's not here. Her father is unwell. We also offer our sincerest prayers for her father and her brother for their speedy recovery. They are listening to this online. She's one of the organizers. And of course, Sejal ji. कहाँ हैं आप लोग? Sejal and Neeru ji, please come forward. एक बार देख तो लें लोगों को देखने तो किस ने गड़बड़ किया है. Please come. कॉर्डलेस है क्या हमारे पास? Share some thoughts. Thank you very much. And because you all took the initiative, I had decided that I think May or April that I am going to do 3 days Katha every month, Bhagavat Katha, because the more we spread this culture of Bhagavat and the chanting of the Lord's holy name, the more you will see our internal and external environment getting cleansed, and the more you will see the situation in society getting better and better. So that was my goal, that we should do Bhagavat every month. So we did it, I think, in April. May we couldn't do. June we are doing again 3 days. So they came forward. They wanted to host it. So very grateful. And because of them, we got the opportunity to speak. And so many of devotees got to hear. And thus fetch the Lord's grace, get that special grace from the Lord. Krishna says in the Purana, there's no activity that pleases him more than the singing or chanting of his glories, which we have been doing for the last 3 days. So thank you very much for organizing this. Mic दे दो. मैं तो 3 दिन से बोल रहा हूँ. Give me a break. Yeah.
Thanks all of us for coming.
अरे अभी तो शुरुआत भी नहीं हुई और ख़त्म कर दिया आपने.
Thank you everybody for attending the satsang, and I hope you all enjoyed what Prabhuji's been talking about and understanding what he said. I didn't some of the things, but I will reach there sometime.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
आप बोलिए, नहीं तो आपके फैमिली मेंबर्स को बुलाना पड़ेगा फिर.
Ashni and Shloka.
हाँ, अश्नी एंड श्लोका आइए. 3 तक गिनेंगे हम. So Shloka is the one who carries 300th plus. They are the daughters of Sejal ji. They all look the same, right? Anything you want to say?
Just that this was really, really insightful, and no, it was really good, and thank you so much for organizing, and I'm glad I could make it. So like you say, it's all Krishna's arrangement, so I was here just for this, and yeah, hope to take all these lessons forward in life.
Absolutely, it was Krishna's arrangement that you ended up being in India at this time, I think. All planned.
And thank you to everyone that attended.
Ashni, kuch to bolo.
Thank you so much for this lovely enlightenment 3 days program.
So hope to see you more often now.
Yes.
Online and offline both.
That I'm doing.
नीरू जी, आपके परिवार में से कोई बोलना चाहता है कुछ? वेज नेहा जी कहाँ है? अरे आइए आइए। वेज हाँ बुलाइए उनको भी। सुनील जी, आपको तो बोलना ही पड़ेगा थोड़ा। अरे मैं ना बोलूँगा, कैसे नहीं बोलेंगे आप? इसके लिए ज़रूरी है। यस नेहा जी, एनीथिंग यू वांट टू शेयर? निवान, ये इंटरोगेशन सेशन नहीं है, प्लीज। निवान, यू वांट टू से समथिंग? नो, नथिंग।
The only thing, Prabhuji, I can say is the fact that today my husband and my son are here is magical in itself, because I would not have imagined this for them to sit so patiently and listen to this. I think that itself is glory of the universe, which is over here. But thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you once again. Now we'll chant and end this series. So we'll have a longer chant today, since this is the last day. So hope everybody will stay back. We are on time. बैठ जाइए अभी आप लोग। हाँ, थोड़ी देर बाद करते हैं आरती ना। थैंक यू। हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। एवरीवन प्लीज।
हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे
हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्णा
Much louder, please.
Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
जय श्री राधे
राधे राधे राधे जय श्री
राधे 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 जय श्री राधे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Much louder, please.
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
राधे जय श्री राधे
राधे राधे राधे जय श्री राधे
राधे
जय श्री
जय श्री राधे
राधे
जय श्री
Hare Krishna. And many thanks to our Kirtan team also. So please pray for them also. Because of them we have been able to relish the Kirtans. So we can all give them a big hand as an act of our gratitude. Generally satsang mein tali nahi bajayi jati hai, but this is one of the ways we could do it. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much to all of you also for being so patient and coming every day to attend this sacred festival. Hare Krishna.